Remember, your Amazon Alexa is always listening. In 2018, a girl named Alexa came home to her apartment to find her creepy stalker landlord in her kitchen. She screams and threatens to call the cops, and he just smiles and says, "I was just checking in on you," and leaves. Feeling totally sketched out, she spends the next few hours down the hall in her friend's apartment before finally going back to her room to go to bed. That night, she woke up to her Amazon Alexa responding to someone in the room. It said, "I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Did you say I'm watching you?" The girl instantly turns on her lights and looks around, but no one's there. So she unplugs Alexa and is about to go back to sleep when she hears what sounds like a man grunting in her closet. As she's staring at her closet, her Alexa turns back on.
Bone-chilling stories you don't want to listen to before bed. There was a guy, let's call him Matt. Matt's wife was 20 weeks pregnant with a girl. They were going to name her Samantha, but she miscarried. A couple days later, they overheard strange sounds coming from their 2-year-old daughter's room. They went upstairs and asked their daughter what was going on. All she said was, "I'm talking to Samantha. She's on the ceiling." This next one is even creepier. A man, let's call him Steven, was working a long shift at a factory, got home, just wanted to relax. He was sitting on one end of the couch and his wife was sitting on the other. We're watching a scary movie and running right past the TV was his 3-year-old daughter. Steven then stuck his arm out to catch his daughter before she ran into the table. Did what any normal parent would do, told her to stop running in the house. But her being 3, she did it again a few minutes later, just zoom. This time she was giggling. This made Steven a little bit more mad, so he stood up and told her knock it off. About 30 minutes go by and Steven's falling asleep and he sees it again, zoom. He saw the kitchen cabinet open. He jumped off the couch, started running to the kitchen ready to yell. But then he looked back at his wife and saw her holding his sleeping daughter. They never opened the cabinet and they moved shortly after.
Today we are going to be talking about the real Annabelle, which actually looks nothing like this. She actually looks like this. She's still in Ed and Lorraine Warren's occult museum, which their kids now run. You guys might recognize Ed and Lorraine Warren looking a little bit like this. But of course that was just a movie, and this is what Lorraine Warren actually looked like. And for some reason TikTok isn't letting me upload a picture of Ed Warren. I seriously don't know why. I've uploaded like 10 different pictures, or tried to at least, and it's just not popping up when I go to upload it to green screen, so I'm sorry. Some insane stuff has happened at their museum. There was this guy that was there and he was making fun of the real Annabelle doll, saying that it was just fake, and when he left, he died in a motorcycle crash. There was also a young priest there who was mocking Annabelle, saying that she wasn't real, and right after he left, he got in a terrible car accident and said that he saw Annabelle in the rearview mirror. There are like 30 stories I could do on this museum. Let me know if I should make this a series.
Sometimes monsters are real. After his parents fell asleep at night, a 9-year-old would sneak downstairs into the kitchen and crush junk food. One night, as he's making his way downstairs, he swears he can hear someone in the kitchen, but his whole family's upstairs asleep. He peeks his head around the corner, and in the kitchen is this skinny man drinking milk straight from the carton with his back turned. The boy's terrified, sprints upstairs, tells his parents, who come right downstairs, they can't find anything. It looks like no one's been in the kitchen. And they ultimately blame their son, and they say, "Your imagination's just playing tricks on you." The kid knows what he saw, and for the next few days, he felt like everywhere he went in the house, he was being watched. Then one night, he's laying in bed looking at the vent on his ceiling, and he sees a pair of eyes looking down at him. Freaks out, runs to his parents, who come in, look everywhere, find nothing, and blame him again. A couple of weeks go by, and the boy starts to notice a terrible smell coming out of the vent on his ceiling. He convinces his parents to come in and actually cut into the ceiling and go look around, and they find that skinny man, and he's dead.
Hey, what's up you guys? So today we are going to be talking about the Russian sleep experiment, which is seriously insane. This story low-key terrified me. Russian researchers in the late 1940s kept 5 people awake for 15 days using an experimental gas. There were no cameras, so they monitored them by looking through the portholes and having little microphones in the chamber. For the first 5 days, everything was fine. The 5 subjects were just talking about their past, getting to know each other. And then after 5 days, things started getting weird. They stopped talking to each other completely and started whispering to the microphones in the peepholes. They also began to grow very paranoid. After 9 days, one of them started screaming, so loud that he actually tore his vocal cords. The weirdest part is that the other subjects didn't even react to the screaming. They continued whispering into the microphones into the peepholes like normal. Another patient started screaming, and then suddenly all the noise just stopped. So the researchers spoke to them over a speaker in the chamber, claiming that they were going to set one of the prisoners free. The prisoners responded saying that they didn't want to be freed anymore. So they went to check on the prisoners and found something terrifying. Like for part 2. And we're back with part 2 of the Russian sleep experiment. So on midnight of the 15th day, they finally went into the chamber to check on the 5 subjects that hadn't slept for 15 days. 3 voices began begging them to turn the gas back on so that they wouldn't fall asleep. And then 4 test subjects started screaming louder than they ever have before. And so did the researchers and the guards when they saw what was inside. Only 4 of the subjects were alive, but they didn't look like anything living. The 5th subject who had died had pieces missing out of his body, and the 4 other subjects had torn their bodies apart. Their own bodies. It was also said that they didn't eat past the 5th day. All of the food was still there. The organs below the 4 subjects' rib cages were removed. The heart, lungs, and diaphragm were the only things still there. And then the researchers realized they had been eating their own bodies. They continued to beg them to turn the gas back on, and one of the soldiers actually got his throat ripped out by one of the subjects. 5 soldiers were killed, and all of this just because the subjects didn't want to go to sleep.